Kavaledurga Fort is located in Thirthahalli taluk of Shimoga district in Karnataka. It is around 20 kilometers away from Thirthahalli town. The best time to visit this place is just after the monsoons, as it will be lush green. The initial part of the fort trek is through a paddy field. Kavaledurga was an important fort for the Keladi Nayaks who ruled the Malnad region of Karnataka from 1500 to 1763 AD. The Nayakas of Keladi were feudatories under the Vijayanagara rulers and became an independent kingdom after the fall of Vijayanagara. Some sources mention that the fort was initially built by the rulers of Belagutti region in the 9th century. According to the book Keladi Nrupavijaya, a historical account of Keladi Nayaks written by Linganna Kavi, Hiriya Venkatappa Nayak captured this fort from two brothers who were ruling this area, Toletamma and Mundigetamma. The Keladi Nayaks called this fort Bhuvanagiri Durga. After acquiring it, Hiriya Venkatappa Nayak further expanded and reinforced this fort. He also built many structures inside the fort, including a palace, temples, Sringeri Mata and other matas for Brahmins, ponds, stables for horses and elephants, a granary, a treasury, and a Jnana Shale or educational institute. After walking for a short duration along the Rajamarga or the royal path, the first gateway or Mahadwara becomes visible. ASI has placed an information board here. There are two bastions flanking the main entryway. The fort is built from granite and laterite stones. It had 7 concentric walls. The outer 2 walls were mud walls that were present in the town outside the fort, and they no longer remain. The ruins of the inner 5 stone walls remain. Each level of fortification wall is at a higher level than the lower one. A little distance away is the second gateway that is placed perpendicular to the first one. When elephants were used to break open 4 doorways, the sudden change in the angle would break the momentum of the approaching elephant. In the interior of the second gateway, ruins of a pillared corridor remain. Nearby, there is a stone with the carving of a 7-hooded Naga and a pond named Nagatirtha. Some distance away, you will encounter the third gateway. This gateway used to be called the Nagari Bagilu, as there used to be an elevated platform called Nagari Katte or the drum platform. Drums were used to send signals during the times of war. The capital city of Keladi Nayaks, Bidanur, now known as Nagara, was around 30 kilometers from here. During the times of war, the Kavaledurga Fort was a place where they used to take refuge. It worked both as a hill fort and as a forest fort, as there was a thick evergreen forest in these parts. Further away, a flight of steps will bring you to the fourth gateway. At this level, there are 2 temples, the Kashi Vishweshwara temple at the ground level and the Lakshmi Narayana temple on a small rock hill. The Kashi Vishweshwara temple is an east-facing temple and has two pillars or Deepastambhas in the compound. Hiriya Venkatappa Nayak's father, Dodda Sankanna Nayak, bought the Vishweshwara Linga when he went to a pilgrimage to Kashi. Hiriya Venkatappa Nayak installed this Linga in this fort, built the stone temple and granted lands as Devadanam for maintaining daily worship of the deity. The Garbhagriha of this temple has this Shivalinga. Entry to this temple is through a rectangular Mahadwara. This pillared entrance shows elements of Indo-Islamic architecture and has 8 minarets on the roof. Once you pass through this Mahadwara, you will be in the temple compound. In front of the entrance to the shrine, there is a Nandi Pita without the Nandi. The Mukhamantapa or front hall of the temple has an arched doorway with parrots at the top corners. On either side of the doorway, there are two Chamaradharinis and Yali pillars at the corners depicting a lion-like mythical creature mounted on an elephant. The exterior of the temple has many carvings of fighting heroes, nagas, elephants, and mythical creatures. The roof of the temple is simple, with figures of serpents at the joints. The parapet has elements of Keladi style of architecture with trefoil discs and minarets at the corners. The minarets are decorated with carvings of Nandi playing Mridanga. The roof also has some downward bent water outlets on both the sides. The temple has a small shikara or tower with 5 levels. There are 4 Simhamukhas and 4 Nandis facing different directions. The compound wall also has a few carvings of snakes and fishes. Inside the temple compound, there is a small mantapa that was used for utsavas during festivals. The second temple at this level is the Lakshmi Narayana temple on top of a small mound of rock. It is a single cell temple. Inside there is an idol of Vishnu with Lakshmi seated on his thigh. If you walk ahead some distance from the Kashi Vishweshwara temple, you will reach the fifth gateway. Beyond this gateway, the remains of the palace become visible. There is a stone tub in the compound of the palace. The entryway of the palace still stands along with few pillars and walls. Many fallen pillars are scattered in the palace area. There are remnants of a staircase which suggests that the palace had an upper story. Behind the palace, there is a pond called Santaganga. There used to be canals that supplied water from this pond to the palace and the bathing place. If you trek beyond the palace, you will come across two structures. The first one is ruins of a granite structure that was used to store gunpowder. Still further, on the highest point of the hill, there is another single cell temple known as the Shikareshwara temple. This temple faces west and has a Shivalinga inside. From here, the views are great, and on a clear day, you can see the backwaters of the Varahi Dam nearby.